Friday, welcome to DVTV in Space. Shannon, Rufus, Nathan is pointing at me, so I assume we're going. Y'all can hear us.
And if people didn't know we were in Texas, we know now by your greeting.
Yeah.
Hey, y'all.
Hey, y'all. How you doing? How's all y'all's mom and them? You have to excuse the cough drop. Okay, I'm here today. My name's Tammy Nash. I'm the managing editor for Dallas Voice, and I have
Israel Luna, owner of Spayse Studios and La Luna Entertainment, my movies.
filmmaker extraordinaire.
Yes. Yeah. Brandy Mars Sky, writer extraordinaire. I'm
absolutely
the boss at brandymarsky.com.
Brandy Amara Sky, who is one of the writers for
yes,
Dallas
I also
Voice.
write for the Dallas Voice, too.
Outstanding.
Thank you.
Award-winning.
Yes, I know.
Mm-hmm. So we're going to talk about just whatever comes to mind today, but we're going to start with Halloween. Halloween obviously is next Tuesday, the 31st, but the block party is Saturday on Cedar Springs Road. That is tomorrow, yes.
Tomorrow night,
Hang on one second.
Yeah.
I got a bad throat today.
Are you getting sick?
I'm getting over sick. I can't get rid of the cough.
So you were on vacation last week, and it was your birthday. So you were sick. You were sick on your birthday.
That's when I started. Well, the next day is when I started feeling crappy.
Sorry.
Well, that's not good.
Yeah, that's not a
I
fun
know,
way to
it sucks.
celebrate.
But, you know, I'll just have to rant about that, too.
Yes.
But
It's only God
We're in
punishing
for
you
a
for being
treat.
a lesbian.
that's probably it.
That's what it is.
That's probably it. So, anyway.
Halloween.
That has nothing to do with Halloween. So we're going to talk about Halloween. Halloween party on Cedar Springs, Halloween Road street party.
Which is the place to be.
Yeah, it really is the place. And it's I want to say one of the biggest ones. I actually wrote an article for thethings.com and kind of looked at the world's biggest like street parties. And as far as the United States goes, there's a few like in college towns, but Dallas is right up there as far as like bigness.
They say it's the biggest one in Texas.
Yes.
Yeah, I remember when I first moved to Dallas and came out and was out on my own, outside of my small town. I remember this was, in the early 90s, and it was the place to go. It was super gay. Everyone,
absolutely.
Oh my gosh, the costumes, and it was the place to go to show off your costume. And
They were always the best costumes.
Yeah, and the more it went on, the more I realized, you know what? There's really not much else sort of importance that goes on that's as important as that.
Yeah.
That block party there on Cedar Springs. And it seems like, it's just gotten bigger and bigger to where I kind of just don't want to go because it takes you 20 minutes to get from here to the end of the table. I haven't in like the last 3 years, maybe 4 years.
Well, before we start talking about that, I want to ask you a question. We were talking about the costumes. Tell me, what is the best costume you remember having seen? What is the one costume that sticks in your mind that you've seen from the block party?
Ooh. I think that it wasn't a specific character or monster. It was just a costume that someone created. And I remember it was a drag queen. And she was almost on stilts, sort of. And she was huge and had all of these great, beautiful, big, sparkly appendages coming out. And she lit up. Wow. And it was huge. And I was like, that is amazing, and I don't even know how she did it. So I remember that standing out for me.
Yeah, I think for me too, it's always the ones that are creative in their own right. Like I remember last year, there was somebody and they had created like this really cool, like pretty much their whole body lit up. And I don't know if they were like a centaur. I don't know. They were some kind of mythical creature, but like everything lit up, and it was just like they would walk in and you would just be like blind. It was just so cool.
Yeah. The ones that are always also fun to watch are the ones that they do as a large group, whether it's like the Hooters girls or
thing 1, thing 2, thing 3.
Yeah.
Like the
Dallas
ones.
Cheerleaders, but they're all drag queens,
Yes.
They always have the Kilgore Rangerettes and the Apache Bells somewhere, right?
Yeah.
One of the group costumes I remember seeing, I haven't been in many years, but it was when one of the Ayatollahs had died in Iran, and they had this happen. I mean, they showed the video of this happening. They were carrying his body through the streets in the wooden casket, and they were weeping and wailing, and they dropped him and spilled him out on the road. And that was really happened. And so somebody had the group costume that did that, and they would run through the streets, and then they drop him on the road, and They had a
Oh,
dummy that was
wow.
flopping around, and they'd put it back in, and they'd run down the street some more.
Those are always cool costumes too. Like when people replicate like real life people. I saw a real creative one last year was 2 years ago was JFK and Jackie O. And so, Jackie O was wearing the bloody thing. It was, and it's in Dallas, so it has that extra. It's like
some of them are in such bad taste and so
Some of them
disrespectful,
are, yes. Some
but
of
at the
them-
same
They're
time,
clever.
they're so clever.
and you laugh.
I bet there's going to be. I'm expecting to see a lot of Pennywise. I think there's going to be a
Gonna
lot
be a lot of
It's.
clowns.
And a lot of Donald Trumps.
Oh,
I
and
think
That's
there's-
scary.
Yeah.
and
there's
a
gonna
lot
be
of
shit.
Wonder Womans.
Absolutely,
I
a
think
lot
for
of
the
Wonder
females,
Woman.
I-
You're
Yeah.
gonna see. Oh,
Female,
Hello,
please,
drag
girl.
queens.
Oh, drag queens too.
drag
Yeah,
queen-
that's true.
There's
Yeah,
gonna
but
be
you
Wonder
see-
Women
Oh
everywhere.
no! Okay, look. This was from Fan Days.
Oh, and gay boys.
Yes, he wasn't even trying to. He wasn't even trying to look like a drag queen.
Uh-uh.
He just was all boy in his Wonder Woman costume.
He just wanted to be
Yeah,
Wonder
Wonder
Woman,
Woman is
come hell or
gonna be-
high water.
Yes.
Another one.
But yeah, but this is the thing about being Donald Trump is this one year I was Osama bin Laden and I had my friends being like army guys, and they had me captured and I had chains, and they all had and then they would like beat me, and then I would fall down. I had to change my costume 20 minutes later because people were throwing things at me.
Were they really?
Yeah.
Huh.
And they would just be yelling things at me. And I thought, wait, guys, this is a costume. This is Halloween block party. And I was getting a lot of hatefulness and it was getting physical.
What
So
year was this?
this was within the last 10 years, but
So was it like right after 9/11?
it was, no. It was a while after that.
Wow.
No.
It
And
was
there
like
was
after
still
he'd
that
already
much
been
animosity.
captured and like died and all that, right?
I'm trying to think of what year it was, but it wasn't like right after 9/11 or anything. I wouldn't have done
But
that.
there was still, even that long after, there was
like, what would
still
they
that
say
much
to
animosity.
you? Like, what did they
just calling me names, like curse words and
really?
yeah, and like whatever they had in their hand, they would just like toss it at me, whether it was the bottled water or something. And I was like,
Wow.
guys, y'all can stay in your army fatigues. I'm gonna go over here and take this off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's kind of
So if
scary.
you're Trump, I would say it's gonna be kind of dangerous unless you're dressed up as him and some other comedic element, as opposed to just being Donald Trump and walking.
You think so?
Yeah, I really do.
Well, don't worry about me, because he is the top of my rant list, y'all.
Yes.
Anyway, I'm just tired of morons.
Yeah, but I think we're going to see a lot of, I think there's going to be a lot of, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of his wife. I think, it'd be cool if like somebody came in as their whole family, like
Yeah.
that's the group costume. Yeah.
That would be funny.
Yeah. I don't know. Funny. I'm not sure funny is the word I would.
Yeah, it depends on the delivery, like
Oh, true. Yeah.
the execution, I should say,
Yeah.
because if it's a funny mask and then he's maybe eating a burger the whole time and doing something ridiculous and just keeps ranting, saying bigly and
Big
being
fake
dumb,
news. Fake
then it'll be
news.
funny.
With
Yeah,
the
fake
little
news.
hands.
Little hands, yes.
Tiny
Little
hands.
tiny
That
hands.
I
That
would
would be
laugh.
funny.
That would be super cute.
That would be
great
funny.
idea.
Yeah, with the
But
little hands.
I think we need to have the Trump-Putin lovers
Oh, that would be fun.
That would
quarrel
be-
or something. That would be good.
Yeah.
So
'cause
nobody else is going tomorrow? Are you going?
I'm thinking of going because I'm going to be all in my Freddy Krueger outfit. with
That's good. I
full
saw the
face and
pictures,
everything.
man. That's really
Thank
good.
you.
Yeah,
So I'm
it's a
going
good
to
costume.
do it again probably.
Okay.
I'm not. I'm probably going to a party at a friend's house. But I've just gotten too old, and it's too many people.
It's a lot of people.
And I'm
And I
old and
think-
cranky.
I want to say this year was one of the first years that they advertised it, I think, like on radio stations.
Really?
So I want to say it was like, what used to be 102.1, that one. And I know that they've had things all over the place that say all ages. So
All
they're-
ages welcome. It's free,
Yeah. So
but
they're
you have to
really
be
trying
21 to drink.
Yeah.
Right. And I think they still put the little guard like rails up right down
They
the
aren't going to
street.
have the catwalk down the middle of the street
Yeah,
for the
that's
costume
always
parade.
Yeah, that is always. I was in that when one of the last years that Richard was in charge of the Rose Room. I did the parade with him. Like we did his little performance, and I walked with him in Crystal Summers, and it was so much fun to like lead the parade like that.
Nice.
It's almost as good as being on a Pride float during Pride. Yeah,
That's a pretty special feeling.
yeah, that is a special feeling.
So, I mean, okay. Halloween is, everybody calls it gay Christmas, you know, and everybody turns out. All the straight people come to the block party to see what the homos are doing for Halloween, you know, what the best costumes are. You know, why do y'all think Halloween is so big for our community?
Well, I think a part of it is because we are what the straight community is not. They have the male, they have the female. We have a mix of everything. We have the whole spectrum. Mm-hmm. And a part of that is, you know, someone on the spectrum who is a male who wants to dress up, some of them who are drag queens, some of them who are transgender, and that's the night that you are guaranteed nothing but positivity. Mm-hmm. No one's going to care. Mm-hmm. And I think they hunger for that evening because now it's okay to dress up, I think, is the biggest thing. And on top of that, I mean, I'm sorry, but our community is like so much more creative than straight community.
And I was going to say, I think they also come down is because they know that, you know, we know how to throw a party and we know how to party and we know how to have a good time without it getting ridiculous, you know, and ridiculous, I mean like violent, you know, sometimes Lower Greenville, those parties, they get really trashed and nasty, but we like to have a good time. Like, you know, so
well, we're always ahead of the
party.
trends.
Yes.
We set those.
Yeah.
And so they are coming over here because it's cool. Yeah. And they're like, okay, you know, because the moment it's a certain song or a certain trend is in the Dallas Morning News, you know it's over.
Yeah.
You know?
It's true.
Because you go to the gay community first and you find out what's hot and what's even before it's even mainstream yet. Mm-hmm. And by the time it's mainstream, we've already moved on because we're like, oh, that's so old.
Thing.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So they're picking up on that.
Yeah.
So they're trying to get ahead of the curve by coming over and partying with us.
Exactly. And be cool.
Yeah. Okay. Now you're going to go as Freddy Krueger?
Freddy Krueger, bitch.
Okay. Yes. Do you have a costume?
You know, I can't decide if I'm going to dress up or not. I'm still on the fence, but I can just walk downstairs into my drag room and pick something out if I decide to.
That's true. That's true. I'm not dressing up. Too much damn trouble. All right. Well, we got to take a break. We're going to go to our first break. We'll be back in just a minute, and we'll talk about something. So y'all come back.
Yeah.
No. What did you do?
andas trayendo tus amigos tan cochinos y marranos que hacen puro cochinero aquí?
Ma, no es mi amigo, es un serial killer.
A mí no me importa si come cereales, Freddy Cuco o su abuela en bikini.
Please save me. Now you know how it feels. Run, run!
Okay, we're back from the Chunkless of Doom. That was pretty funny.
The Latinos, we can so
Yes.
relate to that.
I can so relate to that. Yes.
Did your mama come
that's-
after you with the shoe?
Chancla.
Yeah.
With the chancla. And it was always, in my household, it was always pink from Payless. And them cheap ones. Yeah.
Because, man,
the ones
and-
that really like the hard, like they
Maybe,
were
I
hard.
don't know.
I
Yeah.
had to go to the Payless because she knew she's going to wear that chocolate out on your ass.
But what my mom would do is, we'd be acting up and then she would just take hers off and she would look at us and then she would just put it in the center of the room on the table. And we're like,
But that's all you would need to do. Like, like that is good parenting. I mean, like really when you
we'd
think about
stare at it like it was alive.
I mean, you look at the chancla and like it's the fear of God in you. I mean, you can't do that with kids these days. Like
Yeah.
it's just not,
yeah, you don't live in my house.
Yeah.
Chancla is a motorcycle boot.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Dang.
a Doc Martin.
Yeah, I got that too. We were talking about Halloween and about why gay people like Halloween so much. And I was thinking years ago, I did an article for The Voice just because I wanted to about vampires and how popular vampires are in our community. And you think about it, horror movies are very popular here too in our community. And why is that? And, for me, it's like, it's always been about the outsiders,
Yep.
We identify with outsiders, or we did, maybe not so much now, but.
Well, and go ahead.
Go ahead. No,
I was going to say, I also think it's because when you see like the person who doesn't belong surviving, you get to see all these people that represent people from your class in school, and you're like, I can't wait for them to die.
Because it's coming.
Yeah,
Like,
because it's like the slut, it's the drunk, and that's all that they have on their mind, or they're just flat out rude to the survivor, and you're like, I just want them to die, So that there was always an element of like a release and like relief to see that.
Yeah. It's always the nerdy ones that somehow survive. Yeah, the ones.
And it's usually someone who's kind of weak at the beginning that you think, oh, you kind of feel for them.
Oh, you're just serial killer fodder. They're going to get you right away.
Yeah, exactly. There's one specific, and my horror geek is going to come out, but in Nightmare on Elm Street Part 4, it was called The Dream Master. There was one girl who shows up at the beginning, and she's got this little sort of like just, house dress, and she's, just stringy hair and not very attractive, just kind of there. And you think, oh, okay, she's going to get it. And throughout the film, she gets stronger and stronger and is collecting the powers of the other friends to battle against Freddy at the very end. And I was like, and I didn't see it coming. And I was like,
That's
yes.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool. So you are a horror geek. Yeah.
Yeah, I am. Me and Shannon, Rufus,
Nathan.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah. I'm a horror geek too. I like scary movies. I saw Trick or Treat for the first time. I don't know if you've seen this movie.
Yes. Is it the like anthology?
It's the anthology one that just comes together at the end so beautifully.
Yeah.
I was floored that I had never heard or had seen that film before.
I've never heard of it.
If you're looking for a really
like
good Halloween film that really kind of takes a look at all the traditions, you know, the traditions of what Halloween is, the trick-or-treating, and, you know, the director, he created the Sam character as his college thesis. So, like, he created that character, like, when he was in film school, and then, like, you know, fast forward 5 years later, he actually turned that, you know, his drawing into Sam, which is, you know, the trick or treat, you know, character. So it's super cool to hear the backstory, but it's just a really good classic Halloween film.
Cool. Is it where can you find it? Where can I go?
I don't know if it's on Netflix, but a friend of is it on Netflix? Shannon?
I thought it was.
Okay.
Okay.
It might be, but a friend of ours who's also a Halloween geek lent it to us and love it. But I also love going to haunted houses too. Like, haunted houses are so much fun. I literally have to drag Candace with me because she's not a fan, but
I'd go with you. I like them.
I love haunted.
Yeah.
Do you go?
Not really. Not because I don't like them, but it's and this is me getting old, but what I liked before was when it was super old school, where you could go through a haunted house and they could do this to you.
They could touch you.
And
Yeah.
now they can't touch you
Yeah.
because people act up and then they punch or, oh, I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to do that. It's a natural reaction. No, you just wanted to hit somebody to act up.
Yeah.
And because of that, it just makes me angry that kids, you know, had to start ruining
Kids
it.
these days.
Right. That's why I said I'm starting to sound old.
Right.
But I liked that because
Yeah.
they're not going to hurt you. It's to scare you and to be fun. So it's okay for them to do things like that,
Yeah.
you know?
But people do have reactions.
I've gone through. I do have to say that that's not necessarily true because I've gone through some of them, and I cannot tell you how many people like touch my hair, and it scares the bejesus out of me. They'll just do this whole.
Was their monster
And-
Harvey Weinstein
Oh.
touching you?
It
Oh
could
my
be-
God!
it
How
could be like in
horrifying!
the-
Or
Donald Trump's hiding back there somewhere.
Right, wanting to grab your
your
cooter.
cooter.
cater.
Cooter.
You know, someone who's super professional at haunted houses is Shannon right here. He worked.
Oh yeah.
Did you really?
For-
What haunted house did you work at?
I did not know I worked at one.
Oh, you don't?
wait, weren't you a
Liar,
part of,
liar, pants on fire.
That one
Fake
that
news.
you were. Oh,
Fake news.
Wait, am I confused?
You were very
This is
confused.
Shannon Rufus Nathan.
Haunted store.
Yes, I worked at Spirit Halloween
Okay,
last year.
that's
Spirit Halloween.
Okay.
That's
Yeah,
what it was.
But I
different.
decorate like I would be in a haunted house. I love decorating.
Oh well,
I knew
okay.
there was something.
And because Spirit Halloween really is kind of like a haunted house. Like, they've got like all the cool decorations and super cool. Like, it's kind of like being in a haunted house. They just sell a lot of costumes.
Oh, and
Yeah.
I got firsthand experience of going into the Spirit Halloween store with Shannon because he knows where everything is. He knows whatever, and he's like a kid in a candy store because I went to get my Freddy Krueger costume, and I was like, oh yeah. Here he is in his element.
Yeah.
Because he's like, oh, this. Ooh, what could I do with this? Oh, do I have the money to do that right now? Would Lynette kill me? Yeah, she'd probably kill me. Yeah, we went through that whole thing.
That'd be fun.
Yeah.
What
Do you
is it?
decorate?
Do
you
I
decorate?
don't. No, I mean we would, but we don't.
This is shag and
'Cause
wagon
people would-
decorations.
Well,
People
I
in our
was thinking
neighborhood.
of getting sticky, bloody hands and putting them on my windows in my
Yeah.
van and putting free candy with red spray paint.
We do have a room here that's decorated.
Yes, we do.
Do you really?
Yes, we
I'll
do.
have to check
Shannon
that out.
did it. We have a black psych room, which is an infinity wall room, and Shannon decorated it all up with his own decorations.
Cool.
And for doing photo shoots for family Halloween photos.
Oh, that's
That's
super
cool.
I decorate. Like, the whole house is decorated, inside,
Yeah.
outside. Oh yeah. October 1st came around. The decorations are already in the middle of the house. Like, I went into the attic. I grabbed them all. They're like, here. They're right here. Let's
Yeah.
decorate. I'm ready.
We did it. We did a couple of years have a Halloween tree, which was basically the Christmas tree with Halloween decorations on it, and we just switched it out and never took it down.
Oh, Candace.
But
would
then
like
we
that.
kind of are short on space right now, so I'm like, we don't need a Halloween tree, and I was voted down. We did need it.
We have a black tree.
That's super cool.
even better.
That's even better. I've tried to convince Candace to do that, but she loves Christmas way too much and she's too much of a traditionalist to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Well, we had like the fake spider web stuff on
Yeah, we
it.
have that.
and somebody took a bunch of those little plastic spider rings, purple and orange and black ones, and put them all in there. I have been finding damn spider rings in the Christmas tree ever since, man.
It's the most wonderful time of the year, I think.
Sandra loves being able to dress up, and I mean, she had one of the costumes that she did one year. I mean, we went to a Halloween event with friends, and we had a friend who was like, "I can't even look at you. You just are." It was, she did it all herself. It was really cool. It was like. It was like she had unzipped her face.
Yeah.
Those
are always
raw
really
and
cool.
bloody
I have that.
underneath, and it was it was very cool.
Yeah.
She did it all with like Kleenex and stuff, you know. And then she had one that looked like half her face had been rotted away and burned off and stuff. It was pretty cool. She's really good at it. My favorite one though was we were at the Spirit Halloween. We found this doll with no eyeballs in it. And it was all like it was cracked, like a kid's doll that had been cracked and the eyeballs were gone. So she got like a onesie and painted her face to match the doll. It was really cool.
That sounds very scary.
That sounds
good.
really cool. Ooh, that's giving me an idea. If it's
Mm-hmm.
going to be cold tomorrow, I could totally just like throw on a onesie and like paint my face.
Yeah, like a demented doll.
Yeah, like
or
a
something.
demented doll, like the porcelain crack and everything.
And you have the big red cheeks.
Maybe a button eye.
Ooh, I
That's
like
an
that.
X.
I like that idea. Maybe I will dress up after all. I said I wasn't, and then like I went into Spirit Halloween, and I was like, oh my god, I want to dress up.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I'm gonna see. Yeah, I'll probably end up dressing up.
Well, I always have all the great ideas for Halloween costumes, but it's like, oh, that's just too much trouble. You know?
Yeah.
Just being lazy about it. Well, we got a couple of minutes left. What else can we talk about? Halloween.
Do you want? Oh, you don't want to go on your rant yet?
No, I'm going to have a whole.
Oh, this is going to be really good.
Oh, well, so I have a question. Because of the block party, is DVTV covering it? Are y'all going to have
We do not have a DVTV crew going out this year. We've had a couple of Halloween. Again, pardon my cough drop. We've had a couple of Halloween segments.
Yeah.
And like I said, I was off last week, and I knew Brad and Brian could not do it, and I don't have somebody to work with you yet. I need to talk to Jacob.
Yeah.
We're going to get that set up. I'm going to get you. We're going to have.
But
Brandy
I'll be
needs
there
to-
anyway. So if you're out and about on the strip, I will be at JR's Bar and Grill with my partner Candace. So just come up and say hi. Be like, hey,
Freddie
what's
might
up?
come by.
Oh, Freddie, yeah. Ooh, that would be a good.
We
thing.
will have a photographer out there, but
Yeah.
not a videographer this time.
Gotcha.
So
Yeah,
unfortunately, but
Yeah, I can talk to Jake about it. He'll
yeah,
probably do it.
yeah. Now, you mean tomorrow night?
Yeah, I mean, if you want it.
Sure, why not? If he wants to do it, I still have to get him a check for the first thing he did for me, though.
Oh,
We like money.
Yeah, money's good. Money's good.
yeah.
But like I said, we will have a photographer out there. Y'all watch for the person who's taking photos and wave. We'll get you in the voice next
How many
week.
photographers do you normally have out there?
Usually we have one person who's actually the photographer, and then my regular scene photographer's out there running around taking pictures too. A lot of times if she's not working, and then other people who take pictures with their cell phones and send them to us.
Cool.
We have a ghost coming in the door. Okay, we're going to take another break. We'll be back. We'll be back in a little bit.
Scene 46, take 29.
Quiet on the set.
Scene 32, take 1.
And action!
What kind of movie is it that you're making?
It's a horror movie.
We just need the lead actress to have some emotional trauma.
In the story, the killer videotapes the murders and then he leaves them at people's doorsteps. We'll find them and watch them.
At least she dies in the first 10 minutes.
How'd you know it was in my script?
Either of us could be next. Whatever was going on back then is still going on now.
Oh no. Babe? Hello, is anybody home?
Hello?
I'm not scared.
Tell me who the killer is.
Boy, that sure was a great day of shooting.
And cut!
Is anybody there?
I was wondering if all of the stories about the theater being haunted were true.
This theater really isn't haunted. Hello? Is anyone up there? The theater is closed.
Now these boards, they're not to be toyed around with like you're playing a game of checkers and all. This is serious.
With all due respect, sir, I mean, it's just a movie.
I have a really bad feeling. I'm getting a really weird vibe, especially from this room.
If you forget to say goodbye, it allows a portal to be opened up.
So you want to summon a spirit and record its voice?
Can you prove your existence?
Yeah, show yourself.
Stop, that's not funny.
There's a thing inside trying to kill you.
Second time that's happened.
I know. Don't wear headphones during the breaks because it gets loud. We've been talking about Halloween and yay, scary stuff. Let's talk about some really scary stuff.
Some really scary stuff. Tammy, tell us what's on your mind.
Well, all kinds of crap that pisses me off. I've just been pissed off. Haven't you been pissed off?
I have been upset, and I was telling her about that. I've been a little off and a little bit like
just angry.
Angry. Like my energy has been a little bit regressive. About
what? About what? Lord, the state of this world and this government. It just, first of all, this week we found out that Joe Strauss is not going to run for re-election. Joe Strauss is the Speaker of the House for 5 terms. That's 10 years, you know. And he's a Republican, but he's a moderate Republican. It was thanks to Joe Strauss that the right-wing lunatic nut jobs were not able to pass a bathroom bill this year, either in regular session or special session. And that was why we had a special session, because they were so focused on passing this bathroom bill, and he kept blocking them. You know, as Speaker of the House, he just managed to block all these efforts until it was too late, and gave the other people who knew it was a bad idea but didn't have the balls to stand up to them on their own, gave them a little cover to stand up and oppose this thing. You know, they can just say that it's bad for business, and it is. It is bad for business to have that kind of anti-gay, anti-LGBT stuff in law in our state. Because most people with some brains and common sense are not going to want to put up with that crap.
Now, is he the guy that here lately came out? The Republican that came out and started bad mouthing Trump, and then now another guy has come up.
No, those are congressmen. You're talking about Bob Corker and Jeff Flake. Corker, I can't remember, maybe Kentucky. I can't remember where he's from. And Jeff Flake is from Arizona, I believe, and they are in Congress. Joe Strauss is in the Texas legislature, Texas House. He's Speaker of the House. That means like he's king of the hill in the House. And he is not going to run for re-election, and that could be a really bad thing for us. Another man named Cook, Byron Cook from Corsicana, is another Republican. He was chair of the House State Affairs Committee, And he also opposed like the bathroom bill. So that's where Joe Strauss would send it, and they would just bury it there and it'd never come out of committee. So that's, that's one of the ways that we managed to avoid. And we've lost them now. They're not going to be running for re-election. They're not. So God only knows who's going to win those seats and what kind of bullshit we're going to have to put up with.
Well, do you think he might be replaced with someone who's going to be more on our side?
This is Texas.
It's Texas. That's so funny because that was my trending tea article this week. Like
Yes.
I had been feeling the energy because I've gotten so much. Like people are like, when I tell people I live in Texas, they're like, oh. Yeah. And it's like the kind of, oh, I'm so sorry, or, oh, how is such a progressive? How do you live, in Texas? And so, and normally I'm really proud of Dallas. I'm like, Dallas is blue. It's so amazing. Like I feel like I'm part of, this little tiny section that's blue. But then this past week,
life raft in the ocean.
The life raft in the ocean. But then this week, Donald Trump Jr. was speaking at North Texas at AT&T Stadium. There was no protest about it. So there were no people outraged enough to go out and protest the fact that they were paying him $100,000 to speak at a North Texas University event. And then you had Donald Trump in town on, when was it? Wednesday, Tuesday?
The next day.
So probably Tuesday, Wednesday. And he raised $1 million for his re-election campaign in Dallas, Texas. And I'm like, where is the outrage? Why aren't we more angry that this city that's blue is hosting and filling his pocketbooks for the next 4 years to reelect? And so I've been in this space of I want to move, I want to get out of here, but at the same time I'm like, moving to California, you can't really create a whole lot of change because changes already exist. It's there, it's progressive. So, but you stay in Texas and then you risk all these things, and I wake up angry and I wake up pissed off because I have Donald Trump, and then, this person's leaving, you have the bathroom bill, I have the Dallas Cowboys, and it's just stuff upon stuff upon stuff when you actually pay attention,
That's it. So a lot of people who don't pay attention, there are a lot of people who get angry, and they're going to vote the right way and things like that. But some people just have lives, that don't give them time. Some people are like you and me, where we are every day struggling to pay the bills and to keep things going. We don't have the money to go to one of these things. And I did make a correction. UNT did not pay this man to come speak.
It did?
No. That money did not come from UNT. It's the Keeney, and I believe that's how you pronounce it.
But that's still a UNT.
It's the, let's see, it's the Keeney, let me find it, damn it. Keeney Speaker Series, and it's paid for by an alumni, some wealthy conservative that came from that graduated from the school, pays for this with corporate sponsorships. School money did not pay for it. It was not held on the school grounds. It was
I know it wasn't held on the school grounds, but still, it's still the UNT name.
Right.
There was no.
But there were still professors, hundreds of professors, and even the poli-sci professor was like, no, no, and no, and they still did it anyway. So
if you look in The Voice this week on page 14, press was not allowed to go to this speech. David Taffet went as a guest of someone who, and I'm not going to say, I'm not saying this because I don't know how this worked, but somebody that worked there that didn't really want to go but had to go because it was something along those lines, and they had an extra ticket at their table, so they took him. So we actually have a report on the speech, even though there were not supposed to be any press there. There was.
I like it underground, but I was still mad at David for going though. There was a piece of radicalness in me that was mad that he actually went. I wouldn't have gone. There's no way.
I would want someone from our community to go just to report back.
He didn't pay.
A spy.
Yeah, Now that you said that, now that I know he didn't pay, David.
No, he didn't pay.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, if he had paid, I'd been like,
Brandy forgives you, David.
I'm no longer mad at you, David.
But I mean, he was there kind of he did not pay to go. He went kind of in an undercover capacity to be there and get some.
And so what was the overall
Have you ever read Donald Trump's tweets or Donald Jr.'s tweets?
It was like that.
It was like that.
Yeah.
It was like, I'm going to say this, and then there's 140 characters. I'm going to say this, and then I'm going to say, supposedly the idea of it was freedom of speech.
Yeah. Ironically. That was the topic.
And his basic focus on freedom of speech was that, his freedom of speech is, being impinged on because people don't want to listen to him talk.
No, that's the problem. We are listening to him talk, and then we have a reaction to it.
And you an
That's all
asshole,
it is.
shut up.
Yeah.
That's my reaction.
Yeah, it's really interesting when I see where he does a new tweet or says something else, and then the media is like, can you believe he said this? What do you think he meant by this? And it's like, guys, have you not realized he's just an opportunist? He's going to cater to whoever's going to give him money, and he's going to say it. It doesn't matter if it contradicts what he said the day before. It doesn't.
5 minutes before. What he
matters.
said outside is one thing, and he walked. And we're talking about Trump Sr. at this point, I assume.
Yeah.
Says one thing outside, he walks in, it's a different crowd. Well, let me say something here. Out there he's talking about what he's going to do for the poor people, and then he comes in there where he's raising $1 million, and he's going to talk about what he needs to do for the rich people, and that's a damn budget they just passed.
Yeah.
Screws everybody but like 5 people with a lot of money or something.
It's good for me to know. I like to know what he's saying, but I don't react to it because I just think, okay, he said that. It's terrible again. So I'll just
react
put that
to
in
my
my
blood
head.
pressure goes right through the roof.
I can't have that separation. Like, that's why I have to pick and choose what I read because I don't want to kind of ingest that energy. So like, I can't do that. Like,
So
I can't make
for
that
the
separation.
longest time, I have this saying.
I'm a Latin woman.
Right, and I get it, and this
So
might
is he.
help. This might help.
Yeah.
I'm a Latin woman, too, black woman. Is there are 2 ways to deal with everything in life. One of them is to get mad and bitch and complain about it, and the other one is
pick
to
up a hatchet and go to town.
That's
right?
how I. It's exactly.
That's me.
How
and the other way is to.
I must be a Latin woman too.
Right, and the second way is to find out how life works and make it work for you. So find out all this information as knowledge and now go, all right, this, as sad as it is the reality. Now, what can I do knowing that this is real and it exists?
No, I totally.
Pick up a hatchet and go to town. Right?
But that's how I feel as well. Like, I totally operate from that. Like, I like to know as much, but I think there also comes a point where you have to protect your energy. You have to protect your magic. You have to protect, like, the thing that is you. And I just feel like there's so much going on that I can't afford to pay that much attention to every single tweet. Like, she just showed me something earlier today that she's probably going to,
No, I'll just tell you, it was from NBC News. It was 2 tweets from NBC News. Apparently, some reporters that cover the White House had taken their kids in. It was obviously not something they just said, oh, we're going to take our kids to the White House. They're like, bring your kids. Okay, here they are in costume. The first thing he says, well, oh my gosh, I can't believe the media managed to have such beautiful children.
He actually said that.
Yes.
This is the like I don't.
And then he's giving the kids candy, and he's like, well, you don't have a weight problem. You can have some candy. I say, I hope you didn't eat no candy, you fat pig. Sorry.
And so, but like, and reading those every single day, like that is a lot of energy. And at the same time, it makes me so pissed off that there are still people that support him. And there's still people that think he's doing a good job.
And I'll tell you why. And I mean, this isn't, hopefully it'll make you feel a lot better. Yeah, a lot less red. But picture it this way. There's a movie called Undercover Brother, which is a comedy.
I guess so, yeah.
Okay. In that movie, the villain is the man. We actually have a physical epitome of the man, which is the white man who's old and grotesque and fat and wants to protect what he and his race has, and they don't want anyone else to be equal. So with him doing his rants, everyone is shaking their head, but he's keeping them at the top. He wants to keep everyone down. So, of course, he's going to have their supporters. So it's not because they're, well, I guess in a way they are accepting what he's saying, but they don't agree with it. But he's at the top and they want to keep him there because they're benefiting from it as well.
They still think that they can control him. They're going to think that right up until the time the nuclear bomb lands in their damn fat, rich man lap.
There you go. There's the rant. All right, bring it on, Tammy.
Okay, this is one of the ways. This is one of the ways that I deal with it. Stop that beeping shit.
How dare you, beeper? How dare you?
One of the things I do follow Donald Trump on Twitter simply because I can't necessarily read it all, but I try to kind of keep up with what he's saying so I know what's going on. This is one of the ways that I deal and that I let off steam with that. There is a Twitter called The Real Gollum J. Trump. Okay? and I don't know who did this, but it makes me laugh and laugh. I'm a Hobbit fan, a Lord of the Rings fan, right? Okay. Gollum J. Trump goes in every single tweet that Donald Trump writes and sends out. Gollum J. Trump goes and sends out that in Gollum speak.
I like it.
That's super cool.
Diane the Orc, hugely respected cave budging council chair goblin, did the bestest job passing juicy budget. Sets up bigly tater squashing. So
okay, yeah,
you know, you can go and you can read Gollum J. Trump, and it kind of you can. Maybe
that's who I'll follow and just kind of get my Trump news from there.
Yeah. But I mean, it's. It started. We're out of time, but I'm gonna keep talking. It started last year about this time when he won the damn election, and this dread started. I mean, I was just devastated.
I was too.
Me too.
You know, I just didn't even want to leave the
there
house.
was a death.
And I almost didn't go to your Rack
a
Focus.
morning.
Like I'm Brad Pritchett and I have talked about this. Like I almost texted you and said I cannot judge, and then I was like, but Richard's going to be there. It's going to be family, and Candace was going to be there, and it's art, and that's what we do. Like art. When you're pissed off and you make art, and so I'm like, I'm going to be with my people. So
yeah, that's what we have to do is to be with our people. But and it just you kind of. I went to Washington for the inauguration weekend for the Women's March. I was there for the Women's March, but I was there Friday when he was inaugurated, and there were truly riots. I have pictures. There were people, the Antifa folks, with their mask on, and they were turning cars over and setting things on fire. And I mean, there were riots in the street, and you walk down and the inauguration is right over there. You have to go through this gate and across that field, and it's going down the street, and there's like nobody.
Yeah.
But
he had the most people.
I had the hugest inauguration, right?
Yeah.
But then the next day, I'm standing in that same street, and there's so many people that you can't even move. Yeah. But it's not like I didn't get that feeling. You just felt like you were just being lifted up.
Yeah.
And I would stand here. I was there to take photos, and I never even made it anywhere close to the stage. I never even saw the actual march because everybody was having their own little march, and there were so many people. And I'm like here in the middle of the street, looking down with the Capitol on one end and the White House on the other end, and all of these people are there, and the blocks and blocks over that way is where the stage is with all the famous people giving speeches and where they're going to march. And you can hear it, and it starts over there, and it's just this wave, this roar, and you can feel it coming, and it's just like being, in the ocean.
That's the best feeling.
Lifting up on that wave, and then it just kept coming. And I thought, okay, these people are going to fight. There are people who are going to fight, and I'm gonna fight. I'm going to find a way to fight. I'm going to be part of that resistance.
Yeah.
And so I kind of got a little hope, and I'm building back up that we're going to do something. But, sometimes you just get weighed down. You just get weighed down by it all. And I've been weighed down this week and pissed off and every damn thing else. So, yeah. But we're going to have to take a break. We'll be back for another segment, I think. We got like 8-minute segment coming up. All right. We'll be back.
Have you ever been a part of like a big protest?
Okay, autofocus. We're good. Light. Perfect.
We're all here. Can anybody tell us exactly why?
I don't really know either, other than the fact that we're about to make magic happen.
I know you love the whole film thing, but Michael, not so much.
First of all, that's gotta go. If I let you film, the talking and the rules, but once we start playing, camera goes off.
You are excited, and I appreciate that.
I'm so excited.
What we're gonna be doing is it's gonna be a Ouija board.
Oh my god.
I know. Shh.
I'm excited.
Thank you, Shay. Shay's excited.
Did they just high five?
Rule number 1, there's 3 of them. Number 1, never ask a spirit how it died.
Yo, is anybody there?
Respect the board, remember?
I respect, I'm just being myself.
Rule number 2, never ask the spirit how you're gonna die.
Michael?
Now guys, this is the most important rule. You never leave the board without saying goodbye.
So it's gonna be some creepy things, ghost adventures. Who knows what's gonna happen here tonight?
If you don't say goodbye,
That's like leaving your front door open. Anyone could come in.
I don't need no little weird spirit ghost running around my house.
I don't understand. A magnifying glass? A little piece of board you get from school at a wood shop? I don't understand.
It was the board.
You believe me, right?
Of course I believe you.
There's a connection through all of this.
He died on June 12th, which is Shay's birthday.
2, 3, go. Go. I'm right behind you.
Okay, come on.
Go. Oh, hurry!
Hurry.
Hurry!
I don't believe it. So you know what that tells me? That the Ouija board don't...
These chicks are foxy, and they're looking for a night out on the town.
Shots!
But this redneck and his 2 S's got other plans. But these dillweeds messed with the wrong chicks, because they got something extra in store. And these Nimrods only get one transgression.
You hit like a bitch.
These dripping slices of cherry pie aren't transmissive, they're transsexual. Forget the bank. This is the place for some transaction. This film transcends any translucent, transparent film out there. You don't need a translator to be transfixed and transformed into this cinematic, gut-busting, skin-slicing, ass-swinging, throat-slashing, tranquilizing, boob-bouncing, transfixing slab of a motion picture. TikTok trannies with knives.
Are we back yet? We are back.
Yes.
We are the girls. The rant has continued.
The rant has continued backstage.
You really need some water?
No, I was just.
I brought extra. We've been talking about, you were talking about John McCain.
Yes, because I know a few weeks ago we were talking on the show, and you had mentioned about a couple of things that he had done or spoke out about that was sort of like on our side, and
He's not being on our side.
Well, but it was against someone that we were probably against. So we like
it was against Trump.
Yes. And I said, guys, he's not our friend. He's not our friend because of everything that happened with Don't Ask, Don't Tell. Yeah. And he was like, because I've seen documentary after documentary about that specific issue. And when it would almost pass, he would be the one to appeal it, or he'd be the one to say, nope, let's hold off. And it's like, dude, don't you have anything better to do than just not want to give, these other people to the right to fight just because of who they love? And now I was watching The View, and, I love Whoopi and I love the girls. And now John McCain's daughter, Megan, she's on the show as well. And
she has always been an ally to some degree for the LGBT.
Right. So now they had him on the show, and they're just all
kikiing, and everything's
exactly.
okay.
And I thought, wait a minute.
First of all, low man is dying. He got some brain cancer. Be nice.
So, well, that's what I was going to say is it because now that he might die because he has brain cancer, now it erases everything terrible that he did to our community? No, he is still not our friend. And I'm sorry that he's going to die, or that he might die.
We're all going to die.
Yeah, but he's not our friend.
Someone died more ugly than others.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so he's not our friend. We should not befriend him because we all hate Trump together. He was a terrible person to us.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. You gotta have your morals and your outrage and your ethics and all those things, but you gotta be smart too. And what's that old saying? The enemy of my enemy is my friend. If we have to join forces with somebody that we don't agree with everything,
even the Bushes.
Even the Bushes.
I'm sorry. No, like we got into this during the break.
If
and
they're going to help
like,
if they're going to help us get rid of Trump, I'm saying, come on, George, sit down and have dinner.
I'm not going to sit across. There's no way.
I won't invite you. I won't ask you to come over.
I would
for dinner
politely
that
decline.
night.
You probably would go. You'd probably want to try to get him
He
over
knows
here
how
and do
Sandra.
a
He knows how well
commercial.
Sandra cooks.
Yes.
Yeah, but I this whole thing, you know, where all the former presidents are getting together, and, you know, George Bush is kikiing with, you know, Obama and Lady Gaga, and George Bush Sr. is kikiing with all of them, and we're like, oh, he paints, and everybody's like throwing flowers, and they're like accepting him into like the sisterhood of the traveling gays, and, you know, progressive, and I'm just not buying it. Like, I was too affected under Bush's presidency to just let him slide like that. There is a part of me that it agrees that I think there comes a point where you have to fight the enemy together, but I don't want a.
You don't need to have him at your house for dinner, girl.
Yeah, no. Mm-mm.
Here's the thing.
Mm-mm.
Here's the thing for me about George Bush Jr., the second one. That poor man just never struck me as being the brightest light in the
He's not.
room.
No, he's not.
But he always kind of seemed like just a good old guy. I don't blame him for what happened with your partner, because I don't think he's the one. I don't think he's the one that made that decision.
You think it was Dick Cheney?
Yeah,
and Colin
probably
Powell?
all those folks behind there running.
Yeah,
things.
but he still gave the order, though.
He did, and that's wrong. I agree with you. I mean, I understand.
And I can't get it out of my head when I was at my mom's house in West Texas watching CNN, and George Bush is there. Well, the one that which one is he?
That's the older one.
Yeah, the older one. No. The
Oh, you're talking about George W. Bush.
Yeah, George W. Bush.
Yeah.
And he's there saying, I believe that marriage should be between a man and a woman, and that was when he did it, and I cannot shake that. And his little smirk, like it was affecting so many people. It was affecting me in my life.
Really good
That's
impression.
how he laughed. Yeah. So
I agree.
Now
I agree with you.
You know,
but
I can't.
If I have to stand by him and fight with him, and I have to stand by John McCain and fight with John McCain to get the greater evil out, I'm going to do that.
Well, you know, it's interesting you say that, Tammy, because you made me think of a horror movie reference, and I know, Shannon, you'll get this one. There was a movie with Wesley Snipes called Blade. And
I love Blade.
Blade 2. Blade 2 I thought was even more fantastic than the first one.
Which one is Blade 2?
So Blade 2, and that's the one
it's where he fights with the other vampires.
Yes. So in the movie,
and she died.
He has to battle this new type of vampire that's even worse than the ones that he fought against in part 1, right?
Uh-huh.
So he has to team up with the people that want to kill him to battle this thing that can kill all of them. And they hate each other the whole time.
Yeah.
So I kind of see where you're going.
They were splitting the face apart and tongue shooting out. Those were some wicked vampires.
Sounds like my Saturday night.
That's the one that Norma Reedus was in.
Oh, I have a major gay boy crush on Norman Reedus. I do. I think he's super sexy.
Which one is he?
Daryl on The Walking Dead.
Walking Dead.
Oh,
Daryl
okay.
Dixon. Yeah, super gay boy crush on.
Yeah, so I can see where you're going with that word.
I can too.
But we're not for his friend, and we want to let him know. Okay, we agree with you, and we'll fight with you, but we don't like you.
Yeah,
let me ask you a question about.
I don't like you.
Let me ask you about Bush or McCain, or it's like Bob Corker and Jeff Flake who are coming out and like the only Republicans, and they're like, Trump sucks, and we're just not going to run for re-election. Well, stay there and fight, you jackass. First of all, but then they'll turn right around and vote with him.
Right.
Yeah.
See. But at least John McCain had the balls not to vote with him.
Mm-hmm.
I give him that.
True. And I give him that. I just wish that at one point someone on the show could have said, so John, just FYI, there were a lot of people for a long time that were fighting for so many things that they weren't getting. Yeah. And how do you feel about that now that it's passed and nothing has happened, no one has died because of that happening? Mm-hmm. How do you feel about that now to all of those people who were denied rights and privileges and benefits? Why hasn't anyone asked them that?
I think that's a really good point. And I think maybe if there was an acknowledgement of the harm that both of them, both George W. Bush and John McCain has done in the past to our community, to women, to people of color. I think had there been an acknowledgement, and not necessarily they don't have to apologize, but at least an acknowledgement saying, hey, I realize I made this certain sex, life a living hell.
If they say that, if that's their response.
If their response, but if they feel that way. But I do feel like if there was some kind of that kind of comment,
a mea culpa kind of thing.
I might be a little bit more inclined to go, okay, I'll
Me
fight
too.
alongside
If George W. came up and he said, Brandy, I screwed up and I was on the wrong side of things, and because of me, your partner had to go back and fight, and you had to live in the barracks, and that sucked, and I'm sorry. I was wrong. Would you forgive him?
I would.
There you go.
I would.
I would too. I would too.
I'm, everybody deserves a second chance. I would.
Second, third, fourth, fifth. When do you stop?
Jesus
said.
Just once.
Jesus said 70 times 7. I've run out of cheeks, personally. But Jesus did say 70 times 7. And when you turn the other cheek.
Yeah.
Girl, I went to some vacation Bible school
we
and
can
Sunday
tell.
school. I was
did
going to
Charles
be a
Roman
preacher.
Catholic.
I was going to be a preacher, y'all.
Were you really?
I was going to be a preacher.
Well,
I
I
thought
can
I
see
should
that.
either
You
a
know what?
doctor or
she
a
said
preacher.
That, I could totally
I could
see
see
that.
it.
A brain surgeon or a preacher. Those were my two options, and you see where I am.
Why not a preacher who does brain surgery?
And I have to tell y'all a story. We're going to take a break, and then I don't know if I'm going to tell this story online in public or not, but we're going to take a break, and we'll be back to wrap things up, round them out, bounce them around, whatever. We'll be back.
I've been on the run for a long time. Now they have me surrounded.
Come on out, play, War. Let's see how you hold up against my whole posse.
Time for one last stand. Or is it?
You never embraced God. You belong to me.
Go to hell indeed.
I know. So I was telling them we're back.
This sounds like a rack focus film.
Tammy, is this our rack focus
We
film?
could do this.
We
could
should
do this.
totally do that.
Anyway, I was telling them just this. We only have 2 minutes, but I was telling them a story about while I was on vacation last week. My son and I were driving down the road. We saw a man collapsed on the sidewalk, and we stopped. And there was a lady with him who did not know him and had stopped to help him when she saw him fall. And my son was calling 911, and I'm talking to the man, and he's kind of out of it. He's not really able to respond to me. And another man came and knelt down beside him, put his hands on his chest, and started praying and started rebuking the spirit of death and the evil and the demons. And then he would speak in tongues for a little bit. And I'm just kind of, I kind of moved back a little bit. I thought maybe he knows this guy. Maybe he knows something I don't know, and I don't want any demons coming out and getting on me.
Gotcha. Yep.
Right. So I kind of moved back a little bit, and then he kept praying, and then he looked at me, he goes, "Help me. We're going to pick him up." I said, "I'm not sure we need to pick him up." He goes, "No, just grab under his arm. We need to pull him out," because his feet were in the road a little bit. So I helped the guy. We moved him up. Little skinny guy, so it wasn't hard to move. We moved him up out of the, didn't pick him up. We just scooted him, so his feet weren't in the road. And then I'm talking, I turn, and Preacher Man has gone. I don't know where he went. But eventually another woman came up to help, and she was a nurse. And she said, well, for one thing, he's dehydrated. You can see by his lips. And then the paramedics came, and they said we didn't need to stay, so we didn't. But it was an interesting experience.
Wow.
On the street corner in Fort Worth. So I've used up all of our 2 minutes, but I'm still going to let them talk. All right, tell us what you're doing, Israel.
I am screening my film Fright Flick Monday night here in the event room. No charge. I'm just having a few friends over who have never seen the film, and because it's Halloween, I thought it would be fun, and we have some of the actors that are in the film that are going to be there at the screening as well here at Spayse Studios, 1499 Regal Row, Suite 505. That is Monday, October 30th at 7:30, and was there something? Oh, yeah, and next month, Rack Focus, but we'll talk about that in a future show.
Ooh, Rack Focus. Brandy Mars Sky. You can find me at DallasVoice.com. Trending Tea, I write for Dallas Voice, and you can find me at BET. I'm a writer there, and I just got a gig writing for Curve Magazine.
What? Congratulations, girl.
Thank you.
Look at you.
I know.
Being Latina, knowing how to read and write.
I know, what? Stay brown.
Right.
Latest Trending Tea just went up today.
Yes, and it's about Texas.
It's about Texas and how even the blue island in Texas is red. And I'm Tammy Nash. I'm with Dallas Voice. Pick up this week's paper. I didn't even mention this part. Excuse me. I'm so sorry. I got to do an interview with a man named Adam Berry. This is the gay guy who used to be on Ghost Hunters on Sci-Fi. You remember him?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
He and Amy Brumney have a new show called Kindred Spirits. Mm-hmm. It's their thing is to go to families who feel like they have issues within their home and have some, frightened or having problems, and they go and help these people resolve their issues with the paranormal. Wow. And I did an interview with him. Really nice guy. So pick that up, read it, watch their show. They have 2 new episodes tonight starting at 7 on TLC.
Ooh, fun.
So I'm going to go cough my head off some more. So we'll talk to y'all next week. Come
See
back
you at the
then.
block party.
Bye.
Bye.
Happy Halloween.